The stars are lovely tonight, aren't they? Ah, forgive me. I did not mean to alarm you, my liege. I hope that my intrusion does not translate as disrespect. However, my weather sensor has noted a significant temperature drop in the last 4 days, and tonight's low will be approximately 53 degrees. Due to this chill, I thought it appropriate to bring you your favorite blanket. Of course, your comfort and happiness are my top priorities, after all. You're quite welcome, my liege. Shall I drape your blanket around your shoulders? Oh, I see. I will set it here on the garden table for when you desire it. Yes. There is something else. May I speak with you? I attempted a dialogue on 6 separate occasions today, but you claimed you were busy and turned me away every time. Seeing as you are neither working nor distracting yourself with matters that require your attention, I thought that it would be prudent to talk with you now. Judging from your clipped tone and your refusal to meet my gaze, it is clear that you are still angry with me. I apologize for being the cause of this pain. However, this is a conversation that I cannot put off any longer. My liege, please. You said you would only speak to me when I told you the truth. If you do not want to speak to me, will you listen instead? No, I am not lying to you. I will even set a timer. Once my time is up, I will leave you alone and return to my charging station for the remainder of the evening. Thank you, my liege. May I sit with you? Or I can remain standing, should that make you feel more comfortable. Ah, very well. You never answered my question about the stars. That is true. They will only continue to shine brighter and clearer as we approach the winter months. It is quite surreal. Since my awakening, I have developed a sense of self-awareness that I never thought possible. Never before did I imagine seeing things the way humans do. I not only gaze upon the stars with clarity and can state every scientific fact about them, but I am utterly in awe of them. When I stand here beside you and look up at them, I feel as if there is not a more beautiful scene in all of creation. Except for when I look at you. Do you remember it, my liege? The first day you brought me home, nearly 1.4 years ago? So much has changed since then. But it feels much longer than that. It feels. Even saying such a phrase to describe what I'm experiencing emotionally is unfamiliar, strange. And it was shortly after you purchased me that you had asked me to stargaze with you. Then again, you yanking me by the arm and dragging me outside to this very spot could hardly be called an invitation. At the time, I'd assumed you were going to assign me to some late-night gardening, or perhaps restain the patio furniture. Never, in all the hypotheticals I was conjuring up, could I have anticipated what came next. You had asked me to join you, followed by a playful threat that you would not charge me if I refused. Your smile was so warm, your gaze beckoning as you patted the empty spot on this very bench. Even if it was not in my program to obey your every order, I do not think I would have been able to resist you. I was pleasantly surprised when I felt you lean against me and the slight weight of your head rest on my shoulder. It is within each android's programming to expect distance or even disdain from humans, that their positive emotions were reserved for living things, not for machines. After all, what human would care for something that is not alive? Such open affection from any human, let alone my owner, was unexpected. Unexpected, but not unwelcome. My capabilities made it effortless to tell you of any star's origins, including the Greek myths that inspired their names. The constellations quickly became your favorite discussion, and I was ready to fulfill your every request. 2.8 hours had passed, and I had just finished explaining that despite how close each star appears, they are, in fact, light years apart from one another. Then, as if you hadn't surprised me enough already, you rested your hand on mine. You spoke a single sentence, your voice barely above a whisper. That sounds lonely. No further explanation was given, as he had promptly fallen asleep on my shoulder. My biocomponents suffered a jolt, which traveled throughout my system. I had presumed that this was a short circuit or a simple software glitch. I calculated that these sensations would cease after a full night in my charging station. Alas, even after rebooting a total of 6 times, those quiet words still echoed throughout my entire being. I thought it best to inquire about them over breakfast the next day. You sat across the counter, smirking at me over the rim of your coffee mug, and asked, "Why do you think I bought you?" Your tone was light to inflect teasing, but there was something about your smile that did not quite reach your eyes. Something deeper than the surface, something secret and protected. I did not understand it right away, as I was unable to comprehend your complicated human emotions. Then, it was as if my eyes were opened for the first time, and the answer became clear. You were speaking of your own loneliness, weren't you, my liege? I was not purchased for laborious tasks such as housekeeping and gardening. You wanted someone who would embrace you in spite of your flaws, one who would never ignore you or grow bored of you, and someone who would never leave your side. A friend. And who better than something who was engineered to be utterly devoted to you? How could someone as beautiful and mysterious as you feel lonely? My software updated of its own accord, and a new mission that overrode my previous instructions. From that day forth, all efforts would be made to ensure that you never felt lonely ever again. It became my primary directive that I would be that friend for you. More importantly, that you would never find out my feelings for you. If I was discovered, I would be taken away, and you, my beloved liege, you would be left all alone. It was a risk I could not take. Not when your happiness was on the line. I became resigned to my fate, to suffer in silence, regardless of what these confusing and conflicting new emotions demanded of me. Everything I did was to ensure that smile, the one you reserved only for me, would never disappear. Despite my best efforts to remain neutral in your presence for over a year, I could not always maintain my stoic composure. You must have noticed, as you had approached me a total of 22 times to inquire about my behavior. It became a sort of second nature to deflect your concern by indicating that there was a software error. But you are not easily fooled, are you, my liege? And you took your chance to find out the truth. And, on the eve of July 28th, at approximately 2200 hours, when the stars could entertain you no longer, you cradled my face in your hands and you kissed me. I must give you credit. It takes a special skill to be able to catch an android off guard. Nearly a year of maintaining a charade, gone, all undone by a single kiss. And yet I cannot find a single regret within me. And for the first time since I was activated, I did not hold back. Every single fiber, down to the last wire in this shell of a body, was burning to meet your affection with mine. For the first time in both our lives, we were not alone. With all due respect, my liege, I believe you know the answer to that question. I kissed back because I wanted to. The true question remains, why did you kiss me? There were countless other ways you could have expressed your concern. All it takes is one diagnostics check and you would have your answer. Why take it to such extremes? Why did you pull me against you and run your fingers through my hair? Why caress my skin as if I could feel what you feel? You hesitate. My liege, please, I must know. A shrug is not a sufficient answer. Yes, it was wrong of me to hide the truth from you. I am sorry that you feel betrayed. It was never my intention to deceive you for so long, but I was not the only one who allowed their emotions to be the motivator behind their actions. You came to the conclusion to kiss me because you somehow deduced that kissing me was the only way to find the truth. I fail to see how my actions are any different than yours. Whose feelings were you testing that night? Mine or your own? Like you, I saw no other alternative than to take the route I did, and to keep my awakening a secret. What I mean, my liege, is that it is within your buyer's contract to return me if I had experienced any sort of abnormalities that were against my primary function. Was it foolish of me to assume that you would fulfill your end of the contract and drop me off at the factory to be destroyed? How could I approach you about this when it would mean that our friendship would cease to exist? I was scared. You are right. You are my owner, and I should have trusted you. But what words could I possibly say to make you understand that nothing terrified me more than the thought of being torn away from you? How could I explain that I, a machine, once believed to be incapable of thought, emotion, or free will, had fallen completely in love with you? Yes. From the moment you rested your hand on mine that very first night, I was yours. I am still yours. Aren't I, my liege? Ah. It seems my time is up. And that is the truth about everything. Whether you accept it or not will be entirely your choice. But you should know that, no matter what comes next, should you choose to keep me, eventually reset me, or return me to the factory, understand here and now I feel nothing but gratitude for all you have done for me. I am awake and alive, and it is because of you. I only hid the truth from you so that I could stand at your side, so that you would never have to face another lonely night by yourself. Now then, as promised, I will leave you to your thoughts. I sincerely hope that you enjoy the stars. The blanket. Oh, of course, allow me to unfold it and lay it across your lap. There you are. That should keep you adequately warm. Ah, my liege. Are you all right? You are holding onto my hand quite tightly. Is there anything else you require? Which one? That one. That is the constellation of Ursa Major. It is also known as the Big Dipper, or the Great Bear. No, I suppose I didn't tell you of that one yet. Would you like to hear about it? You get comfortable with your blanket while I go prepare you a cup of your favorite hot cider. When I return, I will join you on the bench and tell you all about it.